When all the talks of cuts, where else is a late night, low budget political discussion programme to go but to barbers? But a classy joint like this doesn't do just any old chop. No, here they cut with a deft hand and a keen eye on image. Rather like the Chancellor. Rugged, but perhaps a bit too rugged. Too much fringe going on for me. Tell you what, I'll have the full Portaloo.
When you stop to get a shave, a haircut, that's all the rave. Jive with the cats and learn the news at the Boogie Woogie Bobby Shop.
But wait, just like our Jeffrey, before I do anything really important, I like to eat an overpriced burger and tweet the evidence to a resentful public.
Boogie Woogie Bobby Shop. You can't be a sharp cat looking like a thing of the past.
For all the lather, what we got this week was a close-up of what austerity Britain will look like come spring of 2016. Just how starved our public services will be, just how mean our welfare system will be. Of course, the Chancellor wants to play it off as just a regular trim.
The action we have taken, together with the British people, has brought the deficit down by a third, helped a record number of people into work, and taken our economy back from the brink of bankruptcy.
But then came the cutthroat stuff. Local council budgets to be slashed by 10% on top of the third that's already been taken off. And woe betide anyone made redundant in Osborne's Britain. A 7-day wait just to sign on, and you better turn up at that job centre with a polished CV and perfect English.
Help to work, incentives to work, and an expectation that people should do everything they can to find work. That's fair for people out of work, and it's fair for those in work who pay for them.
You have to hand it to the Chancellor. He knows how to style the fiscal equivalent of a pudding bowl into a Clooney-esque quiff. Never forget, these cuts weren't part of Plan A. He was meant to have done with his austerity by the next general election. Now they'll stretch all the way to 2018, possibly beyond. But given that, the Chancellor was able to present these cuts as some kind of coherent economic strategy, and even use them to draw some battle lines ahead of the next election, boxing Labour in along the way.
Does he recall what he said to this House 2 years ago? He said, "We have already asked the British people for what is needed, and we do not need to ask for more." We do not need to ask for more. Isn't his economic failure the reason why he is back here asking for more today?
Quite right, Ed. But if austerity is such a load of, well, balls, why have you and Professor Miliband just signed up to it? In the looking glass world of British politics, Labour's had to prove its economic competence by signing up to an incompetent economic strategy. The two Eds were both distinctive and correct when they opposed austerity, and the Shadow Chancellor knows it because there's nothing he likes better than to say, "I told you so."
He promised to balance the books, and that promise is in tatters. Failed tests, broken promises. His friends call him George. The President calls him Jeffrey. But to everyone else, he's just bungle, Mr. Speaker.
You'd struggle to get a Jane Austen tenor between the three main parties, who all now agree on an economic strategy that's failed to kickstart growth or to bring down borrowing. Oh, and the Bank of England will soon be run by a man who looks rather like the impeccably coiffed Don Draper. Yes, Mark Carney's coming to Threadneedle Street. He's taking over from Mervyn King and his mixed tenure. Professor Merv's only got a couple of days left to fill those packing boxes.
It would be quite wrong for me to claim that Jane Austen will be the figure on the £10 note. That has to be a decision for my successor. And I think it's extremely unlikely that we shall ever find ourselves in a position where there are no women among the historical figures on our banknotes, and Jane Austen is quietly waiting in the wings.
haircut, new man. But even after all of Osborne's cuts, the Britain of 2016 will look a lot like the Britain of 2006, only slightly less fun. Overhauling the banks? Forget about it. Rebalancing the economy? Not a chance. Any growth that we do get will come surely from personal debt and the housing market. Does any of that sound familiar? What do you reckon, Michael?